In this video, I'm going to show you how to use fuzzy lookup in Excel to match data that don't match exactly due to differences in spelling, abbreviation, or formatting. And this is extremely useful when you're working with real-world data, where names are rarely consistent. So a prerequisite to getting this done is first having the fuzzy lookup add-in installed and added to your Excel. So if you don't have the fuzzy lookup add-in in the ribbon section in your Excel, I've already created another video on this topic on how to add this, how to install it, have it added in less than 2 minutes. So if you don't have fuzzy lookup installed, pause this video first, go watch that video, install it, takes less than 2 minutes, and then resume watching this video. So I have a data set here consisting of 2 columns. In one column, we have brands, and in the second column, we have a list of brand variants, which comes from, say, a different list or a different database. And as you can see, we have some brands that are the same, but there are some spelling and abbreviation differences between them. For example, PepsiCo versus Pepsi Space Co., or Nestle versus Nestle Inc., etc. As you can see, there are many variations in this second list. And this usually happens due to things like manual data entry. Different people are entering data in different systems, and they spell things different ways using different conventions. And for that reason, these names are spelled out and inputted into software and CRM or ERP systems in different ways, where in reality, they're really the same thing. It's obvious as we observe this, PepsiCo and Pepsi Space Co. are the same thing. Now, this raises a problem, and that problem is that if you want to do a lookup, such as a VLOOKUP, XLOOKUP, or an index match lookup, those lookups are not going to work due to these small variations. The solution to that is fuzzy lookup, which basically takes into account these variations, and I'm going to teach you how to do it right now. So once again, after you install it, you head to the ribbon, you go to fuzzy lookup, you click on this symbol over here. This section on the right-hand side of the screen in your Excel appears. And this section is where we basically set up the criteria for the fuzzy lookup. So the first thing you have to do is to define 2 tables. Now, as you can see, I've already defined my tables. We have table 1 and table 2. But if you don't already have tables defined, doing that is very easy. All you have to do is click on Control L on your keyboard and select your range and indicate that my table already has headers. So in this case, my table does have headers. I have to check this box. But if your table doesn't have headers, you can uncheck this box. And then I have to click on OK. So as you can see, a new table has been formed, and the name of that table is table 3. I'm going to do the same thing with the second column. So again, I'll click on Control L. I'll select the range, and again, I'll check the box that says my table has headers, and click on OK. And the name of this table is indicated as table number 4. So the new tables that I created are table 3 and table 4 respectively. Now in the fuzzy lookup panel on the right hand section, I'm going to indicate those 2 tables. Those are the 2 tables I'm going to be comparing with each other. So I'm going to select table 3, which is the new table I created, which in this case is the data in column B. I'm going to be comparing that with the right hand table, which is the variance, and the name of that table, which I just created, is table 4. And as you can see, fuzzy lookup has already been able to successfully identify which fields we're comparing with each other. So on the left-hand side table, we have the brands, and on the right-hand side table, we have variants. To perform this fuzzy lookup, we have to click on any cell. It could be any blank cell in our Excel sheet. In this case, I'll select, say, cell H1. And that's going to be the starting point for our fuzzy lookup. And what this does is it defines the maximum number of matches from the right-hand table returned for each row in the left-hand table. Now you can indicate this as 1 in cases where you have, say, 1 match from the right-hand table for every record from the left-hand table. But if you have more matches, then you could define a higher number. I'm going to leave this as 1 for now, but I'll do another fuzzy lookup and I'll increase this number a little bit later on in this video. Then we have the similarity threshold. So this is a very important threshold. This is the minimum similarity that a match must satisfy. So if you indicate this as, say, 100%, it will look in the values and only find things that have a 100% match. Whereas if you indicate a lower threshold, it's going to lower the criteria for similarity. And based on that, it's going to decide what's a good match and what's a bad match. And it's also going to assign a threshold in the result. So for the sake of this example, let's put the similarity threshold as, say, let's say 55%. or 54%. There we go. So we indicated it as 54%. And next step is to click on Go in the bottom right-hand corner. There we go. So you can see it has successfully returned the matches. On column H, we have the brands from column B, and it's matched it with the best match from column C. For example, our PepsiCo, the best match is Pepsi Space Co. The similarity index for this item is close to 100%, it's 97%. And the similarity index for, say, Procter & Gamble versus Procter & Gamble written this way is 91%. So it's returned all the matches based on the analysis that it has performed on these two columns, and it's identified, okay, what's a good match, what's the best match, and what's the similarity index. And there we go. We have Johnson & Johnson identifies this one as a 100% match. Nestle versus Nestle with two E's is obviously a spelling error. The similarity index was 94%, and so on and so forth. And you can always obviously sort this. So we can go to data, filter, and sort this by largest to smallest, as so. And this way we can get the best matches on top and the ones which have a smaller similarity index on the bottom. So as you can see, for example, Puma versus Puma space AG has a 90% similarity index. And these are the ones, obviously, that it didn't find any matches for at all. So that's how it's done. Now I'm going to also run this with a scenario where number of matches is higher than 1. So I'm going to clear this for now. I'm going to increase the number of matches from 1 to 3. And the reason for that is, as you can see, our variance list is relatively larger than our brand list. So one item from the brand list in column B might have multiple matches in column C. And this number of matches section here, this will take care of that problem. So if there are multiple matches for, say, PepsiCo, increasing this number of matches from 1 to, say, 3 will result in all those matches showing up. So I just increased this to 3. I'll leave the similarity threshold as it is at 54%. I'll select the cell H1, and I'll click on Go. There we go. So what we did was we increased the number of matches from 1 to 3. And as you can see, whenever we have, say, more than one match, up to 3 matches, those matches have all been identified. For example, for PepsiCo in column B, we have Pepsi Space Co. and also just Pepsi. And those have both been flagged over here. And the similarity index has been identified. Same with, say, Nestle. We have many variants of Nestle in column C. We have Nestle with 2 E's, we have Nestle Inc., and other items as well. So increasing this number of matches from 1 to 3 basically takes care of situations where we have multiple matches. And this is something that usually normal lookups such as VLOOKUP, XLOOKUP, or index match, they generally can't do this. Now let's just run this one more time. I just want to increase the similarity threshold to see what happens. I'm going to clear this data for now. And I'm going to increase the similarity threshold from 54 to, say, 72. And let's run this again. Okay, there we go. So again, this has given us a somewhat better match. This is a much more reliable fuzzy lookup, in my opinion, when we increase the similarity threshold. Now let's just filter this and sort by largest to smallest on the similarity column. There we go. So you can see a few items, it's identified them as 100% similar or close to 100% at least. These are obviously matches which have been identified correctly by this fuzzy lookup, and a similarity index has been assigned to all of them. In this case, all of these look like a good match to me. And that's because I indicated the similarity threshold at 72%. Whereas when I indicated it at 54%, there were a few items that were not a good match. So based on the type of data you have, you can play around with the similarity threshold and decide, what threshold works best for you. And by comparison, this kind of analysis would not have been possible using a VLOOKUP or XLOOKUP or an index match. And let's put that to test right now. So I'm just going to do a VLOOKUP, see if a VLOOKUP would return any of these values. Okay, that's the classic VLOOKUP. There we go. It's returned nothing. And the reason is obvious. The reason is those small differences in spelling or abbreviation. And for that reason, the VLOOKUP is not able to pick those up. Whereas the fuzzy lookup, using the procedure that I explained, is able to successfully pick up all those differences and identifies which values are matching between the two lists and what the similarity index is. And that's how it's done. I hope you found this video useful and got some value out of it. If you did, make sure to give this video a thumbs up. Also, if you're new to my channel and you haven't subscribed already, make sure to subscribe and also turn on notifications so you won't miss out on future videos. See you soon.